With all the recent information that we now have on Borderlands 4, we're able to take a look at the new Vault Hunters for the title. I wanted to make a quick video about this. As you guys know, I try to be a bit biased here on the channel and pretty positive when it comes to information, things that we don't have clear data on. And when we get bits and pieces about new content from games or get teaser trailers like we did with the Game Awards, I like to just take a step back and take it and look at it objectively. Now, I do know everyone can have their opinion, totally agree with that. And that's why I make videos like this, because I can have my own opinion, right? But I think it's kind of funny how there is a big drama going on in the Borderlands community with the Vault Hunters that we see. I do know they seem a little bit generic, but if you guys take a look back at all the other Borderlands titles, they were pretty generic up until Borderlands 3, in my opinion. Borderlands 3 switched up a little bit. Now, you could say in Borderlands 2, we had Craig and all of that, and that was kind of a change of pace for the character models and things like that, but that was a character we did know about. But with Borderlands 4, I don't think that the characters are all that bland. I do not think that. I do not agree with that. And the biggest point that I want to come across with this video is if we take a step back, a lot of things what I said for this title and what I think is going to be the case for the environment, the feel, the vibe for the title is we're moving more into a cyberpunk style feel for the game. And this is kind of coming to be, I can't solidify this as truth, but this is kind of my idea since the beginning, since the early concept art that we have gotten for Borderlands 4. I kind of thought that we're leaning more into the cyberpunk feel. Now, if you see my other videos, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about completely futuristic, full-on cyberpunk, but if you think of cyberpunk and futuristic apocalyptic kind of feel vibes, by the way, I love those vibes, movies, games, whatever it may be, one of my favorite styles and concepts for a world. When I talk about cyberpunk, I'm leaning more towards, broken down, kind of gritty, not super futuristic, where there's still kind of older era elements to the world. We're not talking about hover cars and all this crazy stuff, but if you take a look at cyberpunk art and things like that when it comes to different games and movies, you have these characters wearing all these different kind of layers. They're wearing big jackets, overcoats, a coat over another coat under a shirt, weird style pants, things like that. You have tubing coming out of them. And if you look at the Vault Hunters that we see for Borderlands 4, the one on the far right has this tubing coming out of its pants. Now, this could maybe be a tech style Vault Hunter. It looks similar to what we've seen with concept art back in the day for Borderlands 3 for the Malawan soldiers. So that could be the case, but we don't know. The most interesting one to me, in my opinion, is the big brute guy, this Viking kind of guy. It reminds me more so of Battleborn. This is kind of the vibe and the energy I get from this character. But again, you still have this armor set on him and these pieces that are a little bit cyberpunk feel with the way the armor is. But the biggest one is the second one from the left, having this big overcoat like this. Now, we've seen similar coats like this in the franchise, but you have the shorter pant leg with a longer pant leg. But the style of these characters, their coats, the way they look, and all the cosmetic pieces on them, this leans so much more towards a cyberpunk feel for me, in my opinion. And again, this is what I've been saying since the beginning. The environments we see, the weaponry now that we see with the beam weapons, different kind of grenade weapons, as well as the skill sets, it kind of seems like we're leaning towards, going to a new planet. As you guys know, we're going to a new planet that has never been seen in the Borderlands franchise. We have the Timekeeper here. Are we traveling in time? Are we going back in time? Are we going into the future? Are we doing a blend of both? We don't know exactly how it's going to pan out. I don't have really any clear idea how that's going to go. I'm kind of doing more of a deep dive on it to kind of solidify what I think is going to be the case. And I'm going to make a video about it, talking about the things that I think are coming, want to come, and things that I do not want to come to the title. But all in all, I don't have any gripes with the way the Vault Hunters looks. Sure, do they look a little generic? Do their colors look bland? But as you guys know, there are so many cosmetics in the Borderlands franchise, especially when it came to 3. At launch, we had different heads, different skins, different armor pieces, as well as different color palettes for the armors. So there's so much variety when it comes to customization for each Vault Hunter throughout the franchise. And I really think that this is just going to show a baseline of how these characters are. I also do think with the game leaning more so to the Vault Hunters being more in tune with the story, there's going to be dialogue for them, and we're really going to feel that the Vault Hunters, our characters, are actually going to be a bigger part of the story because we've never seen them in cutscenes. We don't see any real interaction. I think there's going to be dialogue this time around. So I don't think they wanted to make them too outstanding in their field. It's a stupid joke, but I don't think they wanted to make them stand out too much when it comes to the cutscenes. Now, I do get that they could do that, but I do think that the kind of style with the story, in my opinion, what I think is going to be coming to be with the way these characters are. We do know there's a war going on between the two factions. You have the Timekeeper, the Ripper, the Iridians, and Queen Callus. I think the Vault Hunters are going to be kind of on the sidelines and try to interfere with this war and try to break it up. Are we going to choose sides? I don't know. But I think that's kind of why we went through a little bit of a generic pace with these Vault Hunters. Maybe they're new up-and-comers, learning the ways of vault hunting. They're pretty new to that aspect. So maybe they're simply generic, and this is going to be a buildup of these character stories from the beginning. But I don't think having this big drama about, oh, they're so generic, they're so bland, you know, think back at all the other titles in the franchise, compare them to what we have at launch. Most of the Vault Hunters were pretty basic, just standard characters that you could technically consider to be an NPC in the world, in my opinion. 3, they had a little bit of a switch up with Moze, with Flak especially. Those characters look pretty different, but with them being bland, I think it's going to go and tie more into the generic feel of like, you know, we are really a part of this story. You know, we're not just some super crazy, insane Vault Hunter that can destroy everything. And I understand that's what a Vault Hunter is supposed to be. But maybe the story is going to revolve around the building up of these characters and really shaping them into the Vault Hunters that we will see in Borderlands 5. I don't know. That's far-fetched. We don't even have Borderlands 4. Why am I talking about 5? But in my opinion, I think we should just take a step back, look at it objectively, and really understand that this is the first time we're seeing them. I don't think any of their character models are going to change at all. Maybe their color palettes will to some degree, but the game has been in development prior to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So these characters, now that they're going to be in cutscenes, they have dialogue and things like that, they're not going to change all that much. There's so much of Borderlands 4 that's already been created and done and probably finished. Obviously, they need to do some polishing on it, but they're not going to change the way these characters look and feel overall, because I think it's too late in the development process. And I honestly don't think they look bad, in my opinion. I'm really excited to see the brute force guy, the big dude over here, Viking style. I don't know how he's gonna work out. I don't know exactly what kind of classes these characters are. I haven't really taken a look at that and kind of figured out what I think these classes are. I'm just excited to see more teasers and what's to come for the Borderlands franchise. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it and subscribe for all things Borderlands. Guys, I know I kind of mix it up, play Call of Duty, make Call of Duty content, make Borderlands. The Borderlands content does not do all that well, and that's why I took a step back objectively for making that content. I love Borderlands. I would love to make that content full time, but when it doesn't do too well, to be honest with you guys, I kind of had to take a step back and play other games and make content that, you know, I enjoy but also will do well, you know. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and as always, stay happy, stay hyped, and have a beautiful day.